Arjun, where do you rank the Steelers among current contenders in the NFL?
Number one, I'm gonna have the Chiefs ahead of them because Mahomes has had so many big games.
Hmm.
Seahawks over the Steelers.
Right.
Tampa Bay because they've had great Week 6 and Week 7 performance. Tom Brady is still playing really well. He's a very efficient quarterback. And then there, number 4, I'm gonna put the Steelers. I'm not gonna put them above the Saints just yet because the Saints, I know they are recovering from some. They have some injuries. Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas are all coming back, but I'm going to put the Steelers at 4 because, I mean, they played some lockdown defense on Lamar Jackson. They're undefeated. They've had some you could say they have some loose competition. They've had some bad teams, but they're undefeated. So I'm going to put them there.
All right. You have them at what, 4? I mean, of course, they're undefeated. What else can you say? They haven't proven that they can lose yet, necessarily. But I have them ranked 8th currently in contending wise.
Wow,
When it comes to,
you're
I
a
mean,
fucking moron.
no, I
dude.
mean, no. You can slander me all you want. We can get into this. We can get real heated into this. But I gotta lay it out. Their defensive line is a 7-0 type of defensive line. They have good corners. They have Mika Fitzpatrick. I mean, of course, the best defense in the NFL. There's no denying that. But the rest of the team, the offense is not elite like that. They are not a 7-0 team. They're not a contending team when it comes to offense. They lack explosiveness. They lack efficiency. And I mean, it all boils down to Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's the big problem here. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, he ranks 27th in the league with quarterbacks when it comes to average depth of target, and he's only thrown 54 passes that are more than 15 yards in the air. Of the 54 throws that have gone more than 15 yards in the air, he's only completed 17 of them, which totals up to 31%, which is that's not 7-0 numbers. That's bad numbers. That's not a quarterback you're going to win a Super Bowl with. That's not a quarterback that you're going to win anything with necessarily. He's 6th lowest in the league when it comes to throws downfield. But the lack of explosiveness, getting back to it, the one of the big parts I want to talk about offensively, which will end off my offensive rant, would be that only 4 teams are worse than Pittsburgh at moving the chains on first and second down. They have completely relied on moving it on third down to get their first downs, which is terrifying. I mean, if your team playing the schedule that they have, you've been relying on third down plays and you expect to be winning a championship, that is not going to happen. I mean, you can't rely on third downs, especially, I mean, if you had the Chiefs offense, you can, but if you're relying on a mediocre or even porous offense to win you games on third down, that is not going to end well for you, no matter how good your defense is.
I'll open it up a little more, and I'll say maybe there's 3 spots you can have the Steelers on your list. I get the Chiefs. I completely get that. That's fair. I mean, I would say I'm neck and neck on them and the Chiefs. Other than that, I don't see a team I would put above them. I'm not putting the Ravens because as much as like I said, Lamar, I'm not losing faith in him, but right now he's not playing well enough. There's some inconsistencies on offense. I'm not putting Tampa Bay up there. I think they're starting to become the real deal, but I need to see. Well, we still haven't seen AB there. If they can give me 1 or 2 more games, then I'll hear it. But here's the deal.
One of the best offense, but
come on, and I mean, one of their losses was against the Saints when, I mean, Tom Brady did not play a good game in that first game of the season. But besides that, I mean, you have Tom Brady who he has Mike Evans, he has Antonio Brown, now he has Chris Godwin. He has a great receiver core. He has great running game in Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, and I mean that team is so incredibly lethal. And I mean, okay, all this. Okay, since you can't grasp the teams that could be in front of them, I'll name them for you. Okay, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Titans, and the Cardinals. So the Cardinals does come off pretty confusing to the public eye, but like when you look at the elite quarterback play in that team alongside DeAndre Hopkins with the elite quarterback play from Kyler Murray, who's been arguably an MVP candidate this year, and I mean Kenyon Drake, as much as people love to mock him for his fantasy points, he's still a very, very, very talented running back. Sure, you get him and Chase Edmonds back on the field together, and then you have that 1-2 punch at running back. Of course, he's not Alvin Kamara, but he's a great running back.
I'm not disagreeing. I think Cardinals, another same as Packers, very underrated team. They're the same as the Seahawks. So the defense there, it's okay, it's solid, but it's not enough to put them in that top tier. Don't get me wrong.
The Steelers don't have enough offense at all.
But the thing is, like, it's not about. They do have an offense. That's the thing. They wouldn't have won these games if they didn't. I know they are a defensive-focused team, but James Conner is absolutely the real deal. If he's healthy, no, he's not a top 5 running back, but Connor, I mean, he's solid. He gets you the touchdowns. He's got 5 touchdowns. He's already got 500 yards. I mean, he's averaging 4.5 a carry. The dude is solid. Like, he's all you need. You don't need better.
Yeah, let's get our
And don't discredit their wide receivers too. I know if you have Steelers wide receivers on your fantasy team, you're probably disappointed. As one time did Chase Claypool did give me 0.8 points one game, but Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, these aren't great players, but these are solid wide receivers. It's not like they're a subpar performing team. They'll get the job done.
These receivers, no, Chase Claypool has the potential to be one of the best receivers in the league. There's a reason, I mean, I think it's overblown, but there's a reason they call him like Mapletron. If you get that comparison, you're pretty damn good. They have pretty good receivers, but when you have a quarterback that just and the offensive coordinator that just lacks explosiveness and lacks efficiency, you can't do anything. I mean, with a quarterback that poor,
I agree. Big Ben is he's the piece that's going to make it all either happen or not. But yeah, I think we have to. I mean, my thing is I can't put the Steelers outside the top 3. I'm going to have them 2 behind the Chiefs. I think the run game's the real deal. Connor's fine. He's everything you need to be a top caliber team. And at the same time, the wide receivers, I'm not going to call them, it's not an elite trio by any means, but I mean, I'd much rather have their wide receiving core than like Arizona's wide receiving core. Because the reality is, yeah, Hopkins is way better than any of those one guys. But then you get to a guy like Christian Kirk, and after that, there's nobody. I mean, you've got 3, like Arjun said, he made a good point. In fantasy, yeah, it's tough because obviously they share the role. And, Juju may have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns one week. The next week, put up the dud, and Deontay Johnson goes off, and then Claypool. But having that 3-headed monster in a lot of ways makes them a better team than having one stud. And yeah, I know they thought Juju might continue to make that jump and become that stud, but it's not a bad thing that they don't have an alpha there. I think
it's not the lack of alpha. It's that they have a 3-headed monster, and that 3-headed monster can't get the ball with their quarterback more than 15 yards downfield. I mean, their offense consists of slants and screen passes, and that's not going to win you a championship, especially when you're playing most of your downs on 3rd down to get downfield. There's going to be teams that are going to stop you, and I mean, the Ravens, when they played them, played just about their worst game of the season besides when Lamar played the Bengals. That was pretty bad. But I mean, who have they played besides those guys? And who do they play in the future? Let's look. They play the Cowboys this week. They play the Bengals 2 times. They play the football team 1 time. They play the Bills, who have been struggling. I mean, Josh Allen came out firing, but ever since he's been a complete dud in total football. He's not that great of a quarterback, especially due to how much people overblow him. And they also play the Browns 1 or 2 more times. I mean, this team does not play competition, which will also hurt them in the long run because they won't know what competition is. And then just to conclude my point, get it towards you, and so we can end this off, I just think that when you have a team that has such an offensive dud at quarterback, you might as well have Mason Randolph when it comes to passing the ball downfield, and they're not going to win a championship with that porous of an...
If you're still watching, go ahead and like and subscribe to the Half Court Heave podcast for more football and basketball content.